I do think that the entrepreneurial spirit is kind of innate. Like, I think that it's something that you're born with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you hear stories of all of these super successful people that started even like deciding at 5, 6 years old, you know what? I want to sell lemonade. But I also think that that can be something that's developed later on in life, because I think that entrepreneurship is found in a passion point.
It has to start with passion. That's number one.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like the old term goes, like, you have to be willing to die for this shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a reality.
Okay, good point. Are you willing to die for it?
For what I'm trying to achieve and my happiness, who doesn't? Like, if happiness isn't the ultimate goal, then what the fuck you doing it for? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you have to go fully out for it and not accept failure as an option.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you go half-assed, that's exactly the outcome you're gonna get. You're gonna get a half-assed job.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to go to risk it all. You know, and that's just where it comes from. Like, if you're half-assing things and not gonna take the risk that you need to get to happen to make it to the next level, then you're done. So if it comes down, it's definitely passion is definitely number one.
Okay.
Passion.
I agree.
Work ethic. Mm-hmm. You need to have a work ethic because you need to combine the passion with the work ethic.
How do you handle, on the work ethic topic, when you're having to work with someone that doesn't have the same work ethic as you? Because when you have a strong work ethic, it's easy to believe that someone that shows up if you're at 100 and someone shows up at 80, that it's easy to feel like we don't have the same work ethic. They're not working hard enough. How do you handle that?
That you kind of have to understand that people have their own levels of what's hard work. You know what I'm saying? Like, how they interpret what hard work is one thing, and how another individual interprets it is another thing. Like, because I'll get up at 3, 4 in the morning because it popped into my mind that I forgot to do something and I want to get it done, and I could just do it at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I cannot expect someone else to do the exact same thing.
Right.
That's a little bit unrealistic, and then it comes down to the expectations.
Right.
So, you know, you balance it out and kind of understand that, like, not everyone's gonna wake up at the time that you do. Not everyone's gonna get the work done as you do, because there's more than enough time throughout the day to get a lot of shit done, right? There's no reason why by the time if I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm working from 7 all the way to 4, I can get a whole bunch of shit done. Even with 3, 4, you know what you can accomplish within an hour? Yeah. The kind of phone calls, the kind of meetings, the kind of things you can do within an hour is a lot. So it's kind of balancing out, understanding that what I consider strong work ethic is not exactly what someone else considers it. It's just different levels to it.
But you just meet them where they're at.
Exactly.
Okay, so passion, work ethic, what would you say is the third one?
I think the one is like the grit. I think grit is like the last thing. It's like, it's to just make sure, like, you just dig your feet in and just make it happen.
And how has culture played a role in that? Because I know how, not only being a Latina, first generation American from immigrant Dominican parents, but from being from the Bronx, New York, I know how that plays a role in my grit. And even seeing mommy, who, you know, has an employer, like, mommy to this day doesn't get a day off until she works 12 days straight.
Yeah, and she's an investor.
And she's an investor.
It's the same thing with entrepreneur. An entrepreneur can have a whole bunch of people see all the thing, but they don't see all the hard work, like we were talking about earlier, all the hard work that comes behind it. Right. So, like, I can't remember the last time I had a vacation. Yeah. That I've really turned everything off and just relaxed. Yeah. Doesn't happen. Our phones are always constantly going. We're always on emails. We're always on phone calls. We're always doing everything going. So, I've never had a vacation, to be honest. That's what it's for. And then that's why you also do it, is you can have the freedom that we can just get up and do whatever the fuck we want. Yeah. So it's like, if I want today, right now, I can just book a flight and leave. Like, my check is not dependent on absolutely anybody else. Right. So it's just based on my work. And luckily, thank God, with the technology that exists nowadays, we're able to still handle business outside of the country or outside of town. Yeah. So that's what it is.
But damn.
Keep picking up.
But going back to the how do you feel New York, Latino culture, whatever, plays a role in your grit?
Well, it does. Like, you mentioned it earlier, and I won. Yeah. I told you I was gonna win. Pick them up. Anyway, it's all about the culture, and it has to do with the grit. We come from immigrant parents. We've seen our parents grind and hustle and work their butts off to provide a better life for us, and it's up to us to take it to the next level. So culture definitely has a big input in it.
That's why for me it was New York culture, because New York culture is all about the grind and the hard work and all of that, and sort of fighting for your dreams. Like, obviously the New York anthem is New York State of Mind, right? And I do think that there's a uniqueness to entrepreneurs from New York.
No, yeah, and anywhere you go, people are always,
Tira?
they're always really, they know that it's extremely fast paced. They know that you have to keep up, and there's no other place in the world like New York. So we definitely have an edge and advantage over that.
Energy.
What about energy?
It's important, obviously, and I think that one of the beautiful things about being an adult is that you create the energy that's around you, and you decide what energy you allow around you. What have you seen as far as a difference in things that you allowed before and things that you don't allow anymore that plays a role in your entrepreneurship?
Things that I've allowed before and I don't allow now. So I've learned in a way to not share some of my ideas with people. I have to be very careful who I share it with. And not that I give a shit, to be honest with you, because I know that the God that I believe in is way more powerful than a person who's just going to throw out some negative energy, right? Like I said, if God is written, if it's in your destiny, it's going to happen, period. So it doesn't matter what anyone says, it's going to happen. It's either going to happen or not going to happen. So I just don't deal with a lot of the bullshit anymore that I used to deal with. I don't, and I know my worth, and I know what I bring to the table. So I'm not going to do jobs or contracts below what I know it's worth, right? So it's knowing your worth. Not like before where, let's just get this check. Let's just do this, let's do that. I think there's a point where you have to kind of understand, like, okay, I paid my dues. I've been doing this for 10, 15 years, whatever it is. And okay, now it's time to take it to the next level. But also the product needs to show itself off as well. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. Like, just the bullshit, like with people, I just don't deal a lot with it. Like, if I understand like this, an individual is just not capable of understanding something, or we just can't work on the same way, like it's done. Like I don't even think, and no hard feelings.
You leave the bag on the table, and that's that's been the irony for me in doing this, that having had some fear around finances, to now to be in a place of where I'm so sure of what my calling is, and that this is what I'm purposed to do, that it doesn't scare me to tell a client, let's not move on this deal, whether it's because the terms aren't right, or the energy from the individuals or the parties that we would be in partnership with 100%. Isn't right. Like, and that's crazy to me, because again, coming from a place of where at some point I was like, this scares me, because to now be on a call with a client and tell them, hey, let's leave this on the table, not worth it, is crazy to me.
That's just how it is. It goes down to example with us. Like, we had multiple deals on the table before we signed with Interscope. And signing with Interscope was obviously the best deal. Like, not just because of the financial aspect, it was because of the team they have in hand and the opportunity that they presented. Right? So if we were that kind of desperate thing, we would have jumped at the first deal. Right? And after we evaluated the first deal compared to the one we signed, it's night and day. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been a shit show right now.
As of recent, because there were deals 5 years ago. There were deals 6 years ago. And again, that goes back to the part of like people not seeing or knowing the behind the scenes, and they only see the glory and the beauty, but not seeing like, there were times that, and at those points, you guys could have made different decisions, because you were in a season of being broke, and you could have said, nah, let's just take it because we need the money.
100%.
But the belief in, actually, no, we deserve so much more. This doesn't feel right to leave high six figures on the table, to wait and be so confident, no, the right one is gonna come. That's major.
Yeah, it's just what it is. Like, you know the product, the years of sacrifices, the years of work, and you kind of have to let things play out. Right? You have to let things play out and just kind of figure out the balance of
Yeah.
what's a good one, what's a bad one, and understanding what your worth is.
Yeah.
Know what it's like to love somebody the way I love you. To know what it's like. New York.